There is a legal definition of miscarriage. It might sound an odd thing to have law about, but the definition of miscarriage is a loss up to 24 weeks of pregnancy. I guess it's a medical rather than a legal definition. The law comes in when you're talking about a pregnancy loss from 24 weeks onward, which is usually called a stillbirth or an intrauterine death. If a baby is born dead from 24 weeks, it will be classified as a stillborn baby, and there is a process of registering the birth, the death, the stillbirth. If a baby is born before 24 weeks and lives, even for a few minutes, and that life, those signs of life are documented, that's classed as a premature birth and a neonatal death if the baby dies within a week. But normally when people think about miscarriage, they tend to think about a miscarriage being up to 12 weeks. And actually that's not really the case. It can be from any time you know you're pregnant right the way through to 23 weeks and 6 days. Medics often subclassify miscarriage into early loss and late loss, so first trimester, second trimester. And they sometimes disagree about what the cutoff is, but it's usually somewhere around 1 to 12 or 14 weeks is considered first trimester, and 12, 13, 14 weeks up to 24 is second trimester. And in some ways, for a woman, those cutoffs are all artificial. She's had her experience, she's lost her baby. Whether it happened at 11 weeks or 15 weeks or 23 weeks, the definition may not matter to her. As far as she's concerned, she's lost her baby. But the physical experience might be different. The cause of her loss might be different. And her emotional response and her partner's emotional response might be quite different too. That's not to say that if you have a miscarriage at 9 weeks of pregnancy, it's nowhere near as bad or upsetting as having a miscarriage at 19 weeks of pregnancy. Because comparisons aren't really helpful. Your experience is your experience. And I suppose it's easy for people to try and think of it that way. I guess people who don't have miscarriages, but sometimes even people who do might say, well, at least your losses were early. You know, I had my miscarriages at 20 weeks. But that's not really helpful. It's your experience that matters. Similarly, if you have a miscarriage at 20 weeks or 22 weeks or 23 weeks, that officially is a miscarriage. But you may feel that miscarriage is the wrong word, and you'd rather think of it as a stillbirth. And there's no reason why you shouldn't. It won't be treated legally as a stillbirth. But if you're more comfortable going to an organisation like SANS, the Stillbirth and Neonatal Death Charity, rather than the Miscarriage Association, that's understandable, and you should do what feels right for you.